The Wolverine Peptide Stack, just amazing from a healing, rejuvenation properties. If you're any sort of an athlete, if you run a lot, doing marathons, any like really good athletic performance, I would challenge you to take a look at the Wolverine Peptide Stack. Most people in their 50s, it's like, oh, I'm just getting old, and we don't believe that should be a term at any age. At East West Health, we don't like to hear I'm just getting old. Age is just a number, and so let's focus on like what we can do to get functioning better and optimally. I welcome everybody to the Health Accelerator Challenges. This is your host tonight, Cade Archibald. I am going to be diving into some really cool peptides today. You see on the screen here, the Wolverine Peptide Stack. That is one of the peptide stacks that's, I've heard more and more people talk about it in kind of the weightlifting, bodybuilding communities, and you'll hear about it more and more with different peptide groups. It's gained a lot of popularity. So it's the Wolverine Peptide Stack. If you're not looking at the screen, if you're just listening in, this peptide stack, just amazing from a healing, rejuvenation properties. It's known as the peptides, the Wolverine stack, because just like Wolverine in X-Men, he can take a bullet, his body can heal it up. Maybe not as extreme. I don't recommend testing that theory on taking a bullet and using BPC to heal it up. But if by chance you do take a bullet, definitely get some BPC and Thymosin Beta 4 in here. But yeah, this peptide's incredible. Hey, welcome, Shannon. You're new, listen to the podcast, just getting into the world of peptides. I've tried Ipamorelin, BPC-157, Sloop 332 or SLUP, and interested in SS31 and thymosin alpha or thymosin beta 4 or thymosin alpha 1. Awesome. Thank you for those insights there. And yeah, if you guys have any other like questions or things you're really interested in, type them into the chat box. You can also email us, at info@agelessfuture.com. That can be a really cool place to provide some questions and insight and feedback. So let's dive in here. So we'll talk about this Wolverine peptide stack. So very regenerative in nature. So essentially it's a combination of BPC-157 and thymosin beta 4, or also there's TB500. Those are kind of interchangeable. TB500 is just a frag of thymosin beta 4. If it's sometimes those are difficult to get, but very similar properties, same healing capacity. So it's designed to accelerate muscle repair, tissue regeneration, post-injury recovery, and it really can help shorten up the recovery and the healing time. So anyone going, like if you've had surgery recently or you're planning on getting surgeries, first check out stem cells before you get any crazy surgeries. But if it's completely necessary, the healing and recovery with this Wolverine peptide stack, it's BPC-157, thymosin beta 4. We have a recovery blend that adds in a few other peptides with like GHK copper. There's also some growth hormone releasing peptides that are possible, but these two peptides primarily just game changers when it comes to the recovery and stimulating rapid healing and resilience. So much like Wolverine in X-Men. So some of the core components here, BPC-157. So BPC, that stands for body protective peptide or compound. It boosts nitric oxide levels, stimulates angiogenesis. So it's very vascular. So it helps with creating new blood vessels. And then it enhances healing of muscles, tendons, and very uniquely and very importantly, the gut, the intestinal lining. And that's actually where BPC is found is it's in our digestive tract system, and it's huge just naturally. What it's doing is helping our digestive system heal. But and when you can introduce that through injectable peptide, or even oral peptides can be super helpful. Man, it can be really beneficial at accelerating healing, regeneration, and recovery. So very popular in bodybuilders, as well as if you've experienced some injuries, can be super helpful there. If you're any sort of an athlete, if you run a lot, doing marathons, any like really good athletic performance that you're undertaking, I would challenge you to take a look at BPC-157, or take a look at the Wolverine Peptide Stack, which is a combo of BPC-157 and TB500 or thymosin beta 4. What thymosin beta 4 does is stimulate stem cell mobilization, reduces inflammation, enhances repair of soft tissue, including joints and nerves. And it's really what it does is it's pulling in, it activates your body's own stem cells. And so that's where it's stimulating that stem cell mobilization. And so when you get increase in thymosin beta 4, the natural response, even without the peptide, that's what your body does, is when you have like this injury, your body sends thymosin beta 4 to that area. That's going to help stimulate stem cell mobilization. But then if you can inject or ingest some additional thymosin beta 4, that's going to increase that signal. You're going to see more stem cell mobilization and just increase in healing abilities and regeneration abilities. So both of these, so like I was saying with BPC, very natural healing peptide derived from the human gastric juice. BPC-157 supports tissue repair and gut health. And then you have TB500's more the synthetic dose of thymosin beta 4. So this promotes cell regeneration, reduces inflammation, and accelerates your recovery. So that is the Wolverine Peptide Stack. And so some things that you can add in with the Wolverine Peptide Stack. It's like you guys would probably all agree that these two peptides super powerful. And then if you're depending on what your goals are, you can add in some other peptides to this stack and really get a whole nother boost of performance, resilience, muscle growth, things like that. So one option that you'll see and that a lot of our clients really love, and we actually will interchange CJC Ipamorelin or CJC 1295 Ipamorelin, really great GHRP or a growth hormone releasing peptide. The other one would be like Tesmorelin, Ipamorelin, very similar effects, and sometimes easier to get. CJC 1295 right now is a little bit more challenging to get access to, but still awesome peptide. So what it's doing, it's growth hormone releasing peptide. It activates your endocrine system, increasing your IGF-1 and growth hormone levels. So this is going to increase your muscle hypertrophy. So you'll build more muscle. It's also going to increase your metabolism of fat. And so you can really burn fat, build muscle. And then if you got BPC and thymosin beta 4 there, you're going to recover and heal up really fast. And so you can get bigger and bigger gains in the gym. If you're, say you're trying to put on muscle, if you're a runner, you'll recover faster, as well as, build muscle to handle running. Any athletic performance, man, this all together, just a killer combo when it comes to overall performance. And this is mostly physical performance, but also some of these can be really helpful for brain health as well, especially as you're building muscle. That's absolutely going to help with brain function. And specifically IGF-1, it's actually been seen as somewhat of a nootropic. You can get better cognitive abilities, better thinking, faster thinking and response times. And so, yeah, there's this look at, you have the physical side, but also we want to kind of fine tune that mental side. IGF-1 primarily, IGF-1, LR3, this is another one that you can add into that the Wolverine stack. But if just with that, it does have nootropic components to it, so better thinking cognitively, but really it's designed for building muscle hypertrophy. So along with that add-on with IGF-1, with Wolverine blend, you can get C, that's mitochondrial, works on the mTOR pathway. You're going to increase your mitochondrial function with the MOTS-c. So, awesome resilience there, better energy levels. Another one that we haven't talked about for a while, mostly because it's really challenging to find ARA 290. I think I found a really good source for us here soon. So maybe in the next month or so, hit me up if you're interested in ARA 290. Great for nerve pain and vascular regeneration. This one, biggest thing we've noticed is endurance. So if you want to run further, have better oxygen levels when you're going long distances, biking, hiking, all those things, endurance side of things, great with the ARA 290. You mix that with a little BPC TB4, you're enhancing your recovery and your tissue regeneration, and then you're adding in a little bit of a performance boost. And I do believe both Thymosin Beta 4 and ARA 290, those are banned substances for Olympic athletes. So if you're competing in the Olympics, don't take those. It's not for safety reasons necessarily. It's more because they are a cheat code when it comes to performance. So really cool. And I had a question. Do you have a website for purchasing peptide stacks that you discuss? No, that's something. Reach out to us if you email in info@AccuWest.com. You can get set up for a health span assessment, or if you just go to agelessfuture.com, you can schedule a health span assessment that's free. And then from there, we can kind of explain how you can get additional peptides and have access to more of these things. Typically, we want to run some labs first and then really determine what's going to be ideal for you. Thank you for asking, Shannon. Let's see. And I want to go through a really cool case study here. So this is where I won't go through all the details of who this individual is, but 54-year-old male came in, he started to lose muscle. Most people in their 50s, it's like, oh, I'm just getting old, and we don't believe that should be a term at any age at East West Health. We don't like to hear I'm just getting old. Age is just a number, and so let's focus on like what we can do to get functioning better and optimally. So you start losing muscle. This gentleman had joint stiffness. It's a really rough recovery post-exercise. You'd have really good workout and then just be gassed for a few days and couldn't even recover, and then just kind of lower energy levels altogether. So what the stack for him specifically was for the initial phase, did BPC-157, daily injectables, Thymosin Beta 4, twice weekly, and then CJC Ipamorelin. So what that did for him, this is a little infographic if you're watching my screen here. So it really helps amp up the hypertrophy. So you can build muscle. So increase in IGF-1, AKT, those are your protein kinase, as well as mTOR, growth hormone, and testosterone. You get those leveled up, things start feeling good. Versus if you're experiencing some anabolic resistance, your IGF levels are going to be lower growth hormone levels, lower testosterone, And that's really going to lead to a lot of those symptoms that this guy was experiencing. And so those also added in some cold plunging and some zone 2 cardio to enhance that nitric oxide and mitochondrial recovery. So here's a little example of some of the different zones. And you can look those up pretty easily, but that zone 2 can be helpful. Also, just like sprinting, having some consistent sprint levels, that's going to get you up into those higher zones. But if you give yourself enough time to kind of recover on that and don't get the heart rate up too crazy, that's one of my favorite ways, just doing some sprints to get up in there. But the result after that phase, lean muscle gain. So after 90 days, gained 8.6 pounds in muscle, lost 9.2 pounds of body fat. Really cool there. Increased 25% increase in deadlift and squat performance. Eliminated DOMS, so that's the delayed onset muscle soreness post training. So that's probably one of the biggest things I notice. I love Thymosin Beta 4, one of my favorites. And one of the reasons is that DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, does not exist. I can have this crazy big workout and I don't like the recovery is so much easier, so much faster, and it just is a game changer. Looks like we just had a question come in. What causes DOMS? So, so a lot of times like actions or things that you're doing would be, working out, anything that, can cause that soreness. Typically it's, you have these, you tear muscles as you're like lifting weights or anything. You're going to get little micro tears in your muscles with any sort of exercise, especially if it's, really challenging exercise. Hopefully you're getting a little bit of that soreness, because if you get that, that means you're tearing muscle and building muscle. So the process of building muscle is typically like you wreck it and then it builds back, and you wreck it and it builds back. What's nice with Thymosin Beta 4 is you wreck it and it builds back, but that lactic acid and some of that inflammatory response, and there's also a chemical release that causes that like soreness that you feel. And so Thymosin Beta 4 can really help reduce that and potentially eliminate it, because your muscles are able to just recover way faster. And so you don't necessarily experience that same soreness. So yeah, that's really cool. So hopefully you guys gain some appreciation for the Wolverine peptide blend, and also some, there's some other cool peptides that you can mix and match with that. Some other ones that we didn't mention in here. So Shannon, in the chat box here, you mentioned you're interested in SS31. It's very similar to MOTS-c. It's a mitochondria recharge peptide, great energizer. Works on a little bit different pathway, but that would be a great one to kind of add into that Wolverine Peptide Stack. And so, that's one to consider as well if you're just new to these, or if you're in an East West Health program, talk to your provider or your health integrator and ask them a little bit about this. Figure out, hey, is the Wolverine blend or the recovery blend, is this in one of my future phases? If not, maybe figure out how to get it in there. It can be an awesome peptide stack. All right, and along with that, here's the CJC, Ipamorelin. These are great for growth hormones, and you can just see kind of where there's different studies happening to show how these are actually producing some pretty killer, great results here. So hopefully you guys had a good time today. We believe health is the #1 investment that always yields an outsized return. We experience some amazing results for our clients. And if you're not currently a member here with East West Health, challenge you, go to agelessfuture.com and schedule a health span assessment session. If you are, thank you guys so much so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully you learned some really cool data on Wolverine Peptide Stack, what you can add into that to just make it super robust so you can perform your very best. We want you to look, feel, perform your best at any age. And we believe you can get better and better as that number increases in age. You can just keep feeling better and better. So love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Same time, same place. You'll probably see Reagan next week. See you, everybody.